here, as you've seen in the last video, is Mr. Squeaker's enclosure, the skeleton gecko. He's probably in that little bamboo tube. Nothing has changed other than I added a new big syngonium and I took away the plastic plant. In this enclosure, I have the 3 classroom pet toads for my school that I'm taking care of over the summer. One of them's there, one of them's probably buried over there, and here's the other one. They're pretty cool. Here in the actual critter room now, it's a bit of a mess. Up first, we have a small Kenyan roach terrarium. I've seen these guys before plenty of times. And also a couple of springtails and rove beetles in here. Here's the small Kenyans. Right over here, we have Susan's new terrarium. Susan is the little baby Central American banded gecko. A nice little water bowl, some rocks, shells, and a big cave. This is definitely an improvement over her old terrarium, which was similar in size but not really built well as the terrarium. And this enclosure used to house my 2 salamanders, which I'll get to in just a little bit. Right down here, we have the brand new Woodland Terrarium. I've already shown my previous Woodland Terrarium, but this one, if y'all remember from the feeders tour video, has the locking lid. This used to house the crickets and the isopods and a couple of roaches. I emptied it out, and I moved all of those feeders into that tub, which I'll get to in just a bit. And I moved all the woodland stuff, plus a few other plants and bugs, into here. There's some various wild blueberries that are just growing back. I collected them from Georgia. The same with that one, which is a different species of wild blueberry. That plant, I believe a mock strawberry, was in the old terrarium. It's doing well. Box turtle shell, bunch of food, rocks, water bowl. And then this rock, which is now up sideways, makes a sort of a little cliff face. Behind it is the slope. As for critters, I have snails. These little red-headed crickets, which I've shown recently. One of them actually just molted, just shed its skin, its exoskeleton. That's exciting. We've got a couple different snails in here. And of course, the typical soil creatures. Springtails, rove beetles, isopods, etc. And that's the new Woodland Terrarium. Over here we have 2 feeder tubs, both of which are on the floor for now. That's going to be moved soon. Big watermelon chunks, and a big pile of logs and sticks and bits of bark. In here, as you can see, I have my tropical banded crickets. I've also got some Suriname roaches, some more small canyon roaches, some powder blue isopods, and some dwarf mealworms, or buffalo beetles. Those are some of the buffalo beetles. I'm just in this mixed tub for now, and it works well. Over here, in the tub marked dubia roaches, I have the lobster roach colony, which is still doing well. There's quite a few adults and a bunch of small babies. Over here, in this terrarium, we have the dubias. Little exoterra terrarium. Well, dubias and powder blue isopods. There's the dubias. It's an adult female. These are the most widespread classic feeder roach. Just a simple little terrarium, stacks and stacks of cardboard. A nice food bowl. Right over here next to them is the terrarium of Lucky and Blaze. The terrarium of Lucky and Blaze. Susan's parents. The Central American banded geckos. They're hiding somewhere. But I've recently put out a video about these guys. Well, this guy and the girl. And I really recommend y'all check that out. There's a spider plant. Some sort of little succulent. And a little haworthia that's still growing. And a nice water bowl. And here we have the curly tails. Their enclosure got more of a simplified makeover. I removed all the substrate, placed it with paper towels, removed most of the decor, gave them a ceramic food dish, and they have the same water bowl. And they're doing great. All 6 of them are still alive and healthy, and the reason I moved them onto paper towels was just that it's easier to clean and it's a easier temporary setup. Soon, well, somewhat soon, I'll give them a more naturalistic enclosure. It's even better than the one they used to have. Right up here, we have Cliffhanger's enclosure. Cliffhanger being the very adorable bearded dragon. Hello. Yes, hello. How you doing? He's amazing. He's got a hammock, a cave, which he really doesn't use that much. He usually sits on top of it. A log, water bowl, and a food bowl. Hello. Right over here, I've just been using this landscape fabric to separate them. Otherwise, you try to eat the glass. My dusky cave roaches. They've been moved, and they'll soon be moved again. With a bunch of springtails. They're all doing good. right next to them is the home of the salamanders. They are in a tub setup now. They'll still do fine in here as long as I change out the water fairly consistently. And this will make it much easier to move them. And yes, this is only temporary. Soon they'll get a nice big enclosure with a stream and a waterfall. Here we've got, if I can get a good view of it, one of my sealed terrariums. And another one, which is filled with condensation, so you can't really see it. I have those, just some potted plants. Right over here, my fish tank. Tiny little killifish in there. A little tetra. And a couple of mosquito fish. And a golden top minnow. And yes, this tank is only about half full. Again, that's because I'm going to have to move it very, very soon. Eventually, it will be all the way filled. Well, that's the critter room tour. There's a lot of stuff that's been moved, and it will all soon be moved again. But I'll definitely give y'all an update once that happens. But, well, there's a lot of exciting stuff coming up soon. If y'all have enjoyed it, even though this channel is pitifully tiny, I would really appreciate it if y'all liked the video and subscribe to the channel, maybe. That would be amazing. And comment some tips and stuff, and like aquarium and terrarium designs, if I could maybe implement it, or different critters you'd like to see, or things you'd like to see in the critter enclosures. I'll see y'all next time.